Let me ask you this. When you reach the end of Pan's Labyrinth, what do you choose to believe?
Cuando terminó la película, yo no sabía si esta niña estaba imaginándose este mundo o si era real.
A mí me da igual.
The film's first scene sets up a magical resolution, showing fantasy saving Ofelia from death. Her blood flows back into her body, the frame motion inverted, while a narrator speaks of kingdoms and princesses. But the story comes full circle when fantasy fades away, giving way to her death, a mundane, cold conclusion under the night sky, contradicting that first promise. So, which voice are we meant to listen to?
Porque ya la audiencia puede decir, no, disculpa. O sea, la historia tú la cuentas y no esperas que toda la gente la reciba igual. Yo, igual que la niña del laberinto del fauno, escojo creerme solo lo que yo mismo debo creer y no lo que me dicen.
This has a deeper intention. By choosing an open ending, letting us either surrender to faith or reject it, Del Toro's storytelling rises above the totalitarianism embodied by his villains.
Todos estamos aquí por gusto.
Por gusto.
But to truly understand this, we have to look at the film's context and how Del Toro approaches the fantasy genre. Ofelia is a fatherless girl dragged to the front lines of Francoist Spain, where the government hunts the remnants of the resistance a few years after the Spanish Civil War. When the fantastic creatures welcome her, we can see how she reshapes their looks. Influenced by the fairy tales she reads, even suggestively, she shares the very same prose as the narrator.
Cuentan que hace mucho tiempo.
Hace muchos años, en un país muy lejano y triste.
That's how Del Toro introduces the fantasy world via Ophelia's apparent escapism. A faun gives her 3 tasks. If she completes them, she'll return, ascend to her father's kingdom. Ophelia's journey consists of turning her into the antithesis of her stepfather, Captain Vidal. Both characters' motivations are similar. Vidal is pursuing rebels, and Ofelia is asked to obey the faun's tasks to receive her ultimate reward, a better life.
Yo estoy aquí porque quiero que mi hijo nazca en una España limpia y nueva.
No sois hija de hombre. La luna os engendró.
Porque esta gente parte de una idea equivocada, que somos todos iguales.
Pero debemos asegurar de que vuestra esencia no se ha perdido, que no os habéis vuelto una mortal.
Both are defined by the absence of a father figure, and both fill that void by pursuing a narrative that gives them comfort.
Los hombres de la tropa decían que cuando el general Vidal murió en el campo de batalla, estrelló su reloj contra el suelo para que constara la hora exacta de su muerte, para que su hijo supiera cómo muere un valiente.
Decidle a mi hijo a qué hora murió su padre.
Each believes that by fulfilling their duty, they will ascend, and both are willing to do the impossible to achieve it. Even the supporting characters share this kind of pursuit. Everyone is fighting for a better life, a free Spain, a Spain without rebels, or a fantastical utopia. The key difference between Ofelia and Vidal lies in how they pursue what they want. Ofelia allows herself to question the cost of her desires once it means stepping over others. Vidal, on the other hand, he can't even imagine it.
Cúrela. No me importa lo que necesite o lo que cueste. Escúcheme bien. Si tiene que escoger, salve al niño. Ese niño llevará mi nombre y el nombre de mi padre. Sálvelo a él.
Del Toro shows this through his meticulous, mechanical personality.
Hemos traído unas cosillas. Cosas que aprende uno por ahí.
His war turned into a ritual and theatrics of power, as precise and cold as a clock mechanism that never fails. That same certainty becomes his biggest flaw.
Al principio no voy a poder confiar en ti. Pero cuando acabe de usar esto, al principio no voy a poder confiar.
Ophelia's growth as a character distances her from Vidal and fascism, and brings her closer to Mercedes and the rebels because she dares to disobey the faun, to question his rules, to place her own values above blind obedience. This transforms the faun and his trials into a metaphor for temptation, the comfort and safeness of complicity.
¿Por qué lo hizo?
Era lo único que podía hacer.
No, hubiera podido obedecerme.
Prometisteis obedecerme sin chistar.
¿Por qué no me obedeció?
Es que obedecer por obedecer, así, sin pensarlo.
¡Entregadme al niño!
No.
Eso solo lo hacen gentes como usted, capitán.
The film's main musical theme is a lullaby sung by Mercedes, one she can barely remember the words to, but it lingers like a flame that refuses to go out, a primitive memory of a mother whose face has faded, yet whose scent you still recall. That melody represents what drives the story.
Hope.
Soñaba con el cielo azul, la brisa suave y el brillante sol.
De uno de tus cuentos. Seguro que se calma lo estuvo. Hermano, cuando salgas, quiero pedirte una cosa. Solo una. Que no le hagas daño a mamá.
This theme, which first introduced us to the magical world, connects heroism, sacrifice, and rebellion with the childlike faith of Ophelia's fairy tales. Both require the same impossible courage, the ability to believe in something that shouldn't exist. Hope itself always carries a childlike essence. And paradoxically, that refusal to stop believing, that so-called childishness, is in truth the most mature act of defiance against the darkness Vidal represents.
La magia no existe. No existe ni para ti, ni para mí, ni para nadie.
¿Qué va a pasar? Le matáis a él y vendrá otro igual, y luego otro, y otro más.
When the rebels have sacrificed so much in the real world, it makes sense for Ofelia to complete her arc in a heroic way by doing what they do, rebelling against authority.
¿Negaréis vuestra cuna por él? ¿Él por quien habéis sido humillada e ignorada?
Sí, la niego.
And only then becomes worthy of her father's kingdom. She completes her story by doing what her antagonist never could.
Ni siquiera sabrá tu nombre.
And so, Del Toro's entire narrative web is tested in the final scene, when the audience is asked to make a choice. Because textually it's an open ending, but only in tone, because what we witness is a tragedy. The worlds have reversed, shaped by war. What once felt hostile and strange, the fantasy, now, thanks to war trauma that stole Ophelia's childhood, it feels warm and familiar compared to the cold, ordinary reality. And analyzing it as a tragedy, the simplest, most obvious answer is that it doesn't matter whether Ofelia imagined everything as a coping mechanism, or was truly a reincarnated princess returning home. Either way, she must die, abandon her denied childhood in the ordinary world to reach the extraordinary one. Yet Del Toro's deliberate ambiguity, his contradictions on seeds planted before, are there so that you must decide, as the film's final words suggest?
Y que dejó detrás de sí pequeñas huellas de su paso por el mundo, visibles solo para aquel que sepa dónde mirar.
It's your responsibility. Will you dare to dream, to surrender to the childish rebellion of a lullaby that resists the darkness of night? Or will you give victory to the tragic pessimism of a broken humanity? In its refusal to provide certainty, Del Toro's story defies the very thing it critiques. Fascism, with its art, propaganda, and cinema, thrives on simplicity, on what is mechanical, repetitive, easy to swallow. Its goal is linear obedience.
Yo creo que la desobediencia es la clave de la fe y de la responsabilidad.
But this ending, just like Ophelia's rebellion, celebrates complexity, freedom, what has no single meaning, what is messy, faithful, childlike, and magical, the possible within the impossible, subtle, fragile, open.
Porque el momento de España en el 44, el momento en que la línea de pensamiento se vuelve una sola, en el que te dicen solamente lo que tienes que creer, lo que debes de pensar, Se parece un poco al momento que estamos viviendo ahora, extrañamente, un momento en el que el péndulo está volviendo políticamente a la derecha, no solo en Estados Unidos, sino en el mundo.
Personally, looking at the traces Del Toro leaves throughout the film, and how he shows that fiction, imagination, and faith are not so far apart, I choose to believe in fairy tales again,